Debbie and I back with our weekly roundup. We're talking about the aftermath of the Nashville mass shooting and, of course, the inevitable cry whenever there is this kind of a shooting. It's time to ban assault weapons. It's time to have gun control. To which you say what?
Yeah, so apparently, and this because I'm a gun owner and I am a responsible gun owner, I always think about this and I always go back to that woman who lost her parents at Luby's many, many years ago.
Luby's being the restaurant chain.
Luby's back in Texas. Her name is Susanna Gracia Hoop, I think, or Hupp. Formerly a Texas House representative for 10 years. She survived a cattle pen scenario. And let me talk a little bit about what a cattle pen scenario is. Basically, it's a scenario where the shooter knows that there's going to be a group of people, a large group of people in a place where he or she knows that they cannot shoot back at him because it's a gun-free zone. Okay, so she survived a cattle pen scenario at Luby's in Killeen, Texas in 1991, which resulted in the deaths of 23 people, including both of her parents, with the firm belief that she could have saved the lives of many, if not all of the 23 victims, if gun control laws had been more lax. So she lobbied for less firearm restrictions for decades. She says, quote, "I reached for the gun in my purse on the floor next to me," she told a congressional committee during a hearing, and recounted the moments after the killer crashed his pickup into the restaurant where she was eating with her parents and opened fire. But then I realized that a few months earlier, I had made the dumbest decision of my life. My gun was 100 yards away, dutifully left in my car to obey the law because at the time in the state of Texas, carrying a handgun was illegal. So,
in other words, you could own the gun,
yes,
but you couldn't bring it into Luby's.
Yeah. But interestingly, even though Texas, the gun laws are very lax in Texas now, and in fact, I have my CHL, but I don't need one now to carry, right? It's open carry now. There are a lot of places that restrict you from going in with your gun. So let's say I'm going grocery shopping. I can't bring my weapon in with me. It says no guns.
Right.
Gun-free zone.
I've seen those signs.
Right? Gun-free zone. So it makes you wonder, why is it that these people cannot learn? In fact, there is a statistics, a fact, that from 1988 through August of 2019, more than 85% of mass shootings have occurred in gun-free zones. What does that tell you?
I mean, really what it tells me is that the gun-free zone is a magnet for the mass killer.
It absolutely is.
Right? Because the mass killer doesn't want an environment. It's almost like saying, if you're a soldier, would you rather go up against other people who are fighting with sticks and stones, or would you rather go up fighting with people who have guns? Well, the answer is the former.
Right.
And the mass shooter is no different. The mass shooter wants to be a combatant where they are the only guy with the gun.
This is why I feel it's extremely important for schools, churches, all kinds of places that have that have a gun-free zone issue, that they have trained tactical people inside, whether it's an armed police officer or whether it's trained teachers, trained, parishioners, personnel, whatever, because really the only way to stop an AK is to have one.
Well, I know in a lot of churches in Texas and in much of the South, you do have people in the pews who are carrying.
Yes.
They could be a sheriff or a retired sheriff, or it could be somebody who's in the military. And so it's not going to be easy to go into a church in Texas and start shooting, because chances are somebody will drop you
but
in seconds.
But here, like in Texas, for example, remember the last shooting here in Texas, they were like, oh, the door was open, it was unlocked. Well, at this place in Nashville, this school in Nashville, the doors were locked. But this bozo took her AR-15 and shot out the door. So it doesn't really do you much good to have it locked if you're able to do that, right?
I did find it interesting that in the Uvalde case, we have never seen the body cam footage. They released the body cam footage right away in the Nashville case, and I think it's because the cops did a great job.
They were heroes.
They were effective.
Yeah,
they knew what they were doing. They were trained. You could tell that these were people who were brave. Whereas in the Uvalde case, there seems to have been so much dereliction of duty, so many bad decisions.
I think they did release it, but I think it was embarrassing.
Embarrassing
because they
to them
were
in
just
the
not.
end.
Yeah, these guys would just went in and like targeted the assailant. So. But really, truly, I think that that we need to rethink these gun laws, so to speak, because I believe more gun control is not going to stop these lunatics from using their gun.